We join with other UUs in the tradition of inviting the gong 3 times. Once in remembrance of those who have lived, built, and nurtured this congregation before us. Once with anticipation and hope for those who will be joining this congregation in the future. And once with those who are here today. Good morning. It is Sunday, July 12th, 2026. My name's Kathy Mitchell, and I'm your service leader for today. We want to welcome everyone joining us online and in person to the Umpqua Unitarian Universalist congregation. We especially welcome those of you who are visiting for the first time and those recently new to us and returning again. We're so glad you are all with us here today. Everyone, please stay for coffee, tea, and there's also refreshments that are going to be brought up that were left over from yesterday. So there's sandwiches and all kinds of goodies after the service so we can all have a time to get to know one another better. We begin our service with the acknowledgement that our congregation rests on the unceded lands of indigenous tribes, including the Cow Creek brand of the Umpqua tribe. Their name graces our congregation and the river that flows through this land. We make this land acknowledgement in recognition of the Cow Creek Umpqua, the Onkalakalapuyah, the Southern Malala, and other tribes who have been forcibly displaced, yet who continue to live, lead, create, and belong here. May this acknowledgement move us toward repair, relationship, and right action. As Unitarian Universalists, we are diverse in faith. We think for ourselves, and we honor how our life experience shapes what we believe. Unitarian Universalism is its own faith tradition. We come from radical roots and a long history of people who sought a faith grounded in freedom, reason, and love. We are united, not because we all believe the same thing, but because we share a commitment to seek truth, practice compassion, and build a more just and loving world. Our practices for the holy differ, our tradition, but the tradition we share is real, a faith shaped by community, history, covenant, and by conscience. Announcements. One announcement is that there are still a few, probably only about a quarter or even less of Donna's books back on the back table, and anyone who's interested should take a look through them. There's some really interesting books there still, and you're welcome to take whatever you would like. Other announcements are in the order of service along with upcoming events. Much appreciation goes to our musicians today, to our staff, Genevieve and Jake, to our ushers, Jean and Diane, and to our greeters, Tammy and Teresa. Tammy and Gemma. I am so sorry, Gemma. Another announcement. Hold on.
There's a rumor floating that there's more singers that might want to join our group. So come see me afterwards and I'll get your contact information and we'll put you to work.
Singers. In our community today, there are many children and adults, housed and unhoused, facing illness, hunger, and without shelter. Acting in compassion for those who are in need, our service to the larger community is to collect your donations of food and money for the Fish Food Pantry. Our church offering will be later in the service. Now please join our musicians in singing our opening song, Dust in the Wind.
Well, after we run Jake and,
And then, yes.
once we run Jake up and down a few more times.
Yeah.
I am worried about the sound coming through more than lyrics.
Okay.
Because
Okay, so the young
nobody out
lady,
there can hear
Nobody out there can hear? The musicians or me?
the musicians.
Okay.
Everybody in the congregation can, but nobody online.
Oh, nobody, it's the online thing.
online thing.
Yeah, online thing.
Only your monitors are. Even though this soundboard is on, it's not going through the mains.
Okay.
We'll do what we can.
Let's not gonna do the mains? Okay. But tell you what,
Bill has an idea.
we don't need a monitor anyway.
Oh,
We can hear each other. We got a small speaker here. We'll just run it this way, okay?
Will that help your?
That does not fix the issue.
It doesn't fix the issue, but helps them. What do you wanna do?
You guys play.
Okay, here we go.
go.
We're gonna do Dust in the Wind. And since I'm from Kansas, it seems like an appropriate piece.
Yeah.
I think you just turned us all off. We don't have any mics up here now.
That's okay. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Maybe the monitor's turned around, so you can't hear us. We're gonna do okay? We'll do okay. We'll watch each other.
We light the chalice with these words from Paul Stephen Dodenhoff. Joy and grief, health and sickness, light and darkness, peace and anger, life and death, wholeness and brokenness. We each bring all of these here to this sanctuary of unity and diversity and pour them out, commingling the oil of our lives to become the flame of this chalice, the symbol of our shared living faith. And now let us say the words of our affirmation today found in your order of service. We come together to renew our spirits, to open our hearts, we have in community, and to shape a more just and loving world together. We now take a moment to hold what we're carrying into this day, the joys that have found us, the worries, griefs, and longings that travel with us too. If you'd like to light a candle, you're invited to come forward and form a line to the left. When you share, please say your name and please keep your words brief so everyone has time and space in this circle of care. We're supported by this community's gifts of time, talent, and treasure. Your support is what fuels our congregation's mission and keeps the flame of justice, community, and love burning brightly. If you are a visitor, please be our guest and let the basket pass you by. What is given now is received in appreciation of the support of our shared hopes and values. For the gifts we have received, may we be truly grateful. May we be committed to using these gifts to make a difference in the world and to expand our beloved community. And now we'll sing our response, From You I Receive. And
From you I receive, to you I give.
Now you go. Thank you, I got confused there.
Me too. You know, it seems like we're always running into dark clouds, right? Obstacles, and if we can let them transform us, they'll do their work. Okay? But after that, they do help us see clearly. You know, some things we haven't seen. That really is so beneficial. So, we're going to sing I Can See Clearly Now. Is it up there? Yeah, it is. Stand up, you young lady.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait. What key is it?
It's in E.
Our speaker today is LaVonne Limpus. LaVonne is a hospice chaplain and a third-year Unitarian Universalist seminarian from central Montana, where she grew up, the youngest of 6, in a ranching family. After seminary, she will focus on chaplaincy and pulpit speaking engagements with an emphasis on ritual for healing community. Currently, she works with grief tenders of Grants Pass to educate community leaders about grief through the ritual of forest bathing. LaVonne.
Hello. Thank you once again for having me back. Good grief, Charlie Brown said. And he said that when he was meeting life's sorrows with a quiet resignation. Today I want to share a story about how grief became one of my greatest teachers. In 2007, my mother underwent what was supposed to have been a routine open heart surgery. Instead, the surgery went terribly wrong. The overly tired surgeon dropped the scalpel on her lung. For months, she struggled to breathe as she recovered, quote unquote. We learned the scar had healed as something unusual called scar cancer. And in this case, it was a terminal diagnosis. In a single moment, the future we had imagined disappeared. The woman who had been caring for me all of my life suddenly needed me to care for her. Medical appointments multiplied. We were in Montana, where medical assistance and it's not great. We were driving all over the state of Montana. Crisis appeared unexpectedly for my family. The rhythm of life was replaced with a very long season of uncertainty. And what I thought might be a temporary challenge became a 7-year caregiving journey. What I thought would be me doing what I always do, and getting through it, became a season of loss as I became unrecognizable to myself. I tried to be a devoted daughter, a dedicated caregiver, and at the same time maintain my full-time career and hold together my marriage. Many of you know how that feels. Maybe not in the same circumstances, but in your own way, caring for aging parents, supporting a sick partner, trying to keep everything afloat when life has already exceeded your capacity. For years, I believed that if I worked hard enough, organized well enough, sacrificed enough, I could make everything work. I was wrong. Eventually, I found myself facing impossible choices. My mother's greatest wish was simple. Before she died, she wanted to return to her hometown. She wanted to spend her final chapters in the place that had shaped her life and held her memories. Making that happen required more than good intentions. It required sacrifice. In the end, I walked away from both of my career and my marriage so that I could honor her final wish and accompany her through the last stage of her life. I wish I could tell you I handled all of that gracefully. I did not. I was angry. I was exhausted. I was confused. I was hurt and resentful that I was forced to make such an impossible choice when everyone else just kept on living as if nothing had happened. Nothing was wrong. And after my mother died, I entered a grief unlike anything I had known before. Not just grief for her death, but grief for the marriage that had ended. Grief for the career I had worked so hard for. Grief for the life I thought I would have and the plans I had made. Grief for the person I used to be. That season began a journey that continues even now, a journey to understand grief, not as a problem to solve, but as a deeply human experience. Along that journey, I learned what I called the 4 truths of grief. They're not doctrines, they're not commandments, they're simple truths that grief taught me. Perhaps they may offer something to us today as we mourn the loss of your beloved friend, Donna. The first truth: grief is the price of love. Many of us wish we could avoid it. And who could blame us? Grief hurts. It rearranges us. It breaks our hearts open. But grief exists for one reason and one reason only: because love existed there first. We do not grieve strangers the way we grieve those who have become part of our lives. We grieve in proportion to our attachment. We grieve because someone mattered. Every tear is evidence of connection. Every ache is a testimony to that love. When my mother died, I wanted relief from that pain. When I eventually realized what I have eventually realized, was that I was asking for relief from the very evidence of my love for her. The grief hurt because the love was so real. The empty place she left behind existed because she had occupied such a large place in my heart. The poet Rumi wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." I think grief teaches something similar. The pain is not proof that something has gone wrong. The pain is proof that something precious existed. Today, this congregation aches because someone you love mattered. Your grief honors their life. I have my papers out of order. It is love continuing in a new form. The second truth, grief cannot be rushed. One of the first mistakes our culture makes is treating grief like an illness from which we need to recover, and hopefully quickly. People often mean well when they say, you have to move on. You need closure. Time heals all wounds. Yet anyone who has experienced profound loss knows grief does not work according to a schedule. Grief keeps its own calendar. It arrives unexpectedly. It disappears without warning. It returns when we least expect it. One day we feel functional. The next day, a photograph, a song, a familiar scent can reduce us to tears. The third truth is that grief is meant to be shared. One of the greatest surprises of my caregiving years was discovering how isolated grief had made me. I felt all alone. I carried all the responsibilities. I thought no one else could understand. I convinced myself that being strong meant carrying everything by myself. Many of us learn this lesson early in life. Many of us wish we could avoid grief, and who could blame us? I'm so sorry I got this out of order. Okay, grief was inviting me towards something else. Not a recovery of the old life, but a creation of a new one. The fourth truth, grief transforms us. Perhaps the most important thing I have learned is that grief changes us, not temporarily, but permanently. We often wish we could return to the person we were before the loss, but loss does not seem to allow it. That old life is gone, that old self is gone. Something new must emerge. At first, I resisted that reality. I did not want to be transformed by grief. I wanted restoration. I wanted reversal. I wanted my mom back. I wanted my life back. But grief was, again, inviting me towards something else. Not a recovery, but something new, a new creation. Over time, grief softened places in me that had once been rigid. It increased my compassion. It deepened my empathy. It expanded my understanding of suffering. It taught me to pay attention to what truly matters. Today, I can see that my caregiving journey and the grief that followed became one of life's greatest spiritual teachers. I would never have chosen that path, but I would not be who I am without it. And perhaps this is the final great gift that grief offers. Not happiness, not certainty, but wisdom. A deeper appreciation for the fragility of life. A greater capacity for love. A clearer understanding of what it means to be humans. Today you mourn your loved one. Their absence is real. Your sadness is real. Your longing is real. And yet, so is everything that they gave you. So as we leave this gathering, I invite us to remember the 4 truths. Grief is the price of love. Grief cannot be rushed. Grief is meant to share. Grief transforms. May we have the courage to feel our sorrow. May we have the wisdom to honor our love. May we have the grace to lean upon one another. And may we discover, even in loss, that the bonds of love remain stronger than death. For love does not end when a life ends. Love continues in memory. Love continues in community. Love continues in us. And I understand that Donna enjoyed to raise a glass with community. And so, as an Irish woman, I must tell her, Donna Sláinte. Love continues in all of you. May it be so. Amen. Oh, I always forget that.
Yep.
Every time I forget, and every time I say, oh, I always forget that part. One day I'll learn.
Comments, thoughts, questions?
This has been really helpful, not necessarily for me in the case of Donna, but I realize that I was helped to do this about the drunken mother. But to pull myself away without destroying her. And I thank you for reminding me or for saying words that would help me remember that I did okay.
Thank you, LaVonne. This is very pertinent in my life right now, having just lost my sister. I thank you for the 4 truths and for your speech today.
Thank you for having me.
There seemed to be a pattern going back, yeah. I have a saying, I don't know where it came from, could be original. It's like, all change must be grieved. And so we tend to look at grief as major big things in our life, but accepting that even the little changes that happen every day, something goes different, something not what we expected, those are all things that we have to grieve, and how important that process is to just be aware of the fact that you have to go through it. Change is hard, small changes, big changes. Got to grieve them all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. And he makes an excellent point that there's so many, that grief is such a natural part of our experience. And so we stop at the stop sign and someone flips us the bird and we go through grief. And we don't go through the stages that they say you go through. Those are a misnomer. So don't hold yourself to those standards. But yes, certainly grief is that minutia of life as well.
I just wanted to say that, about 2 years ago, I lost my ex-husband, and I was mad at him when we separated, but I had to grieve his loss, and it surprised me.
Big shock, big surprise, yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, I think we have a closing song. Stand by Me. It's so wonderful to have live music. We close with these words from Rainer Maria Rilke. Be patient toward all that is all unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, as if they were locked rooms or books written in a foreign language. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given to you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then, gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answers. And we extinguish the chalice with these words from James Galinsky. Our faith, like a light, illuminates the path before us so that we can face hurt with love, cultivate compassion, live humbly in community, and confront despair with the awe of life. Though our flame is extinguished, our faith shines bright before us. Please join in our closing circle as we sing Go Lift It Up.